DC Universe Online versus Marvel Rivals. Let's talk about it. Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. So I saw some people who seems to think that now that we have Marvel Rivals, DC Universe Online is dead. They seem to think that everyone will leave DC Universe Online to go play Marvel Rivals. I don't agree with that. Let me tell you why. The short answer is pretty simple. DC Universe Online is pretty much a PvE game at this point. Yes, you can play some PvP in DC Universe Online, but DC Universe Online pretty much gave up on PvP years and years ago, so they no longer update the PvP side of the game. So at this point, DC Universe Online is pretty much a PvE game, as opposed to Marvel Rivals, which is pretty much a PvP game, a player versus player game. Yes, I am sure that there is some DC Universe Online players who will leave DCO to go play Marvel Rivals, but at this point, the lion's share of the player base for DC Universe Online are people who play PvE. So yes, some PvP players might decide to leave to go play Marvel Rivals, but it's a fraction of the player base at this point. Now if we take a look at the long answer, in DC Universe Online you can pretty much customize your character any way you like, and ultimately you can pretty much recreate any characters you want in DC Universe Online. Yeah, there are restrictions. Basically, you are restricted to the styles that your character has. But as you play over time, you will accumulate a lot of styles, and it will allow you to customize your character pretty much any way you like. So at this point, you can pretty much recreate any iconic DC characters you want, or any characters period. I've seen a lot of people recreate the Spawn, Deadpool, the Hulk, the Wolverine, and more. In Marvel Rivals, you will have a selection of iconic characters that you can choose from, and sadly each character at this point has roughly 3 different costumes that you can have. There are exceptions, like Iron Man does have a few extra costumes, Spider-Man does have a few extra costumes, but as a rule of thumb, pretty much all the characters have 3 costumes available at this point, and even then, you get 1 costume for free. For the other costumes, either you will have to play to unlock those costumes, or you will have to simply buy them from the marketplace. For example, the Avengers Endgame Iron Man, you have to buy it from the marketplace. So for people who play DC Universe Online to be able to recreate their own characters, they're not going to want to play Marvel Rivals, because with Marvel Rivals, you do not have the freedom you have with DC Universe Online to create your own character and to customize the look of your character any way you like. And even if you create an iconic character in DC Universe Online, there's enough options in terms of styles in order to be able to create pretty much any version of Batman or Superman or the Flash that you want to recreate. For Marvel Rivals, you do have a good selection of characters at the start, and more characters will be added. But for the costumes, you have roughly 3 costumes per character. Again, there's a few exceptions, like here our friend Spider-Man has 5 different costumes. But some of those costumes, like the Spider-Man Avenger costume, you will have to purchase that costume. Also, sadly, some of those costumes are pretty much the same costume, but just a different color. For example, we have the classic Captain America colors, but there's a version where it's just the same costume, but yellow. So they did the same with Marvel's Avengers. Like basically Marvel's Avengers didn't have a lot, they had a lot of costumes, but a lot of those costumes were just a different color of an already existing costume. So for people who play DC Universe Online and who like to customize the look of their characters, they're not going to find what they want with Marvel Rivals. Also, if you do like to explore an open world, sadly it is not something you can do with Marvel Rivals. There are various maps with Marvel Rivals. Sadly, those maps are pretty much just arenas, so that you can beat the snot out of the other team. With DC Universe Online, you have some pretty big worlds that you can explore if you want to. The Metropolis and the Gotham open world map are some pretty big maps to explore. It'll take you a while to be able to explore every corner of those maps. Heck, I've been exploring those open world maps for about 14 years at this point, and once in a while I'll still discover something that I hadn't noticed before. Marvel Rival does have some great looking maps. The maps look gorgeous, but due to the nature of the game, seeing how you're very busy trying to beat the snot out of the other team and trying not to get defeated yourself, sadly that doesn't leave much room to be able to explore the map as much as you would like to. I guess you could still walk around and just explore the map in Marvel Rivals. Sadly, if you do that, that means that your team will be playing one man short. So if you just like to fly around and explore the open world, not really something that you can do in Marvel Rivals. And yes, there are people who kind of like to just fly around, relax, and explore the open world. I know that it may seem hard to believe for some people, but there are players who just kind of like to fly around and relax in DC Universe Online. Both games are free to play, so there's nothing that would stop you from, let's say, playing DC Universe Online to explore the open world, to play the PvE aspect of the game, and there's nothing that would stop you from playing Marvel Rivals for the PvP aspect of the game. Both games are free to play, so you can decide to play those games without spending any money. With DC Universe Online, you have access to all the missions, even if you are free to play. And in Marvel Rivals, again, you have access to all the game, even if you're free to play. The restriction with Marvel Rivals is the costumes. Like, you have access to all the characters, but you are limited to the default costume of those characters. So if you want to have additional costumes, you will have to either purchase them. There are some costumes you can unlock playing the game, but there are some costumes that you have to purchase from the marketplace. There is a season pass that you can purchase with Marvel Rivals that will give you access to additional costumes. Although you still have to purchase those costumes, even if you did purchase the season pass somehow. And of course, there is going to be multiple seasons every year. From what I understand, there's going to be 4 seasons every year. So each season will last roughly 3 months. And of course, there are costumes that you will have to purchase from the marketplace, like the Iron Man Avengers costumes. Sadly, if you want to purchase multiple costumes for multiple characters, it will get expensive pretty quickly. So you might decide to focus on just a few characters and purchase the costume for those characters. You decide. For DC Universe Online, there is a subscription that you can purchase. The subscription will give you additional characters, additional bank slot, inventory slots, and more. Also, there are some daily rewards. That everyone gets, but if you are a subscriber, you do get extra daily rewards. Sadly, there are loot boxes in DC Universe Online. The loot boxes are called Time Capsule. So there are Time Capsule that you can purchase to be able to get the extra styles for your characters. There's also something called Booster Bundles that will do the same thing. And there's also, a couple of times a year, there's a Resurgence Mega Capsule where you have access to a whole bunch of Time Capsule for a short limited amount of time. So you can play DC Universe Online completely for free if you want to, but if you do want additional stuff from let's say the Time Capsule, you will have to spend some money to get those items. And sadly, these items are random drops, so if you need a specific item, you may have to open a whole bunch of Time Capsule before you can get those items. So for Marvel Rivals right now, there is the Season Pass, and you can purchase costumes from the marketplace. Sadly, it would seem that there are going to be loot boxes also in Marvel Rivals. They did not reveal those loot boxes just yet, but there were some leaks that did show that there will be loot boxes in Marvel Rivals. Sadly, that seems to be the model for free-to-play games. Purchasing a subscription, that's not enough. Purchasing a battle pass, that is not enough. Even purchasing costumes from the marketplace, that is not enough. It seems that they have to add loot boxes to the game in order to be able to make enough money to keep the game running. It's sad, but that's how it is. But you could still decide to play DC Universe Online completely for free. You could decide to play Marvel Rivals completely for free. And again, you could decide to play DC Universe Online for the PvE aspect. And you could decide to play Marvel Rivals for the PvP aspect. The choice is yours. So now that we have Marvel Rivals, does that mean the end of DC Universe Online? Again, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that people who want to play PvE will keep on playing DC Universe Online no matter what. And people who want to play PvP might gravitate towards Marvel Rivals. So yeah, DC Universe Online might lose some of the players that only enjoy the PvP aspect of the game. But I strongly doubt that Marvel Rivals will mean the end of DC Universe Online. So I think that people who think that Marvel Rivals will kill DC Universe Online are mistaken. At the end of the day, I believe that the only thing that can kill DC Universe Online is DC Universe Online itself. If they make bad decisions and if they don't give the players what they want, then yeah, DC Universe Online might end up killing DC Universe Online itself. But if that does happen, I'm pretty sure it will have nothing to do with Marvel Rivals itself. So there you go, guys. So should you play Marvel Rivals? Absolutely. It's a fun action game, and if you enjoy PvP, it's a fun action PvP game. Should you play DC Universe Online? Absolutely. It's a fun PvE game, and you can pretty much recreate your own unique character, or pretty much any iconic character that you want, if you want to. So either way, you have some very good options to play as your favorite superhero, if you want to.